Was in New Orleans, just on a getaway, not even on any music thing. And after a few, I was there. It was like a Thursday, and I was there till Monday. And on the weekend, I was like, yo, go out to the record store, go check out what's happening in New Orleans. So I went to this record store on Canal Street, and started asking questions. Hey, what's selling in here? What's hot in here? They were like, the Hot Boys, BG. So I was like, the Hot Boys? BG? Who the hell are the Hot Boys in BG? He's like, man, they're outselling DMX. They're outselling... He was naming all, like, the top 5 hip-hop artists during that era. And he was like, oh, they're outselling all these artists. I said, what is it, bounce music? He's like, no, it's not bounce music. They have a little bit of bounce influence, but you need to listen to it. So I bought all the CDs they had. They had like 5, 6, 7 CDs they were selling. From like Little Magnolia, BG, Hot Boys. Bought all the CDs, went back to the room, started listening to them. I was like, oh, this shit is hot. It was like a mixture. It was like a mixture of 80s with current hip hop. It was just this, the sound was just totally different. So there was a number on the back of the CDs that said, for bookings, call this number. So I called the number. I said, someone picked up the phone. I said, hey, I'm Dino from Universal Records, and I want to meet with you guys. So they were like, who? I was like, Dino Delvaille, Universal Records. He's like, okay, we'll set something up. Give us a number, we'll call you back. So they called me back, maybe a couple hours later. They said, all right, we're going to send someone for you. A few hours later, they send someone to the hotel, pick me up, go outside. It's like 3 dudes, 250, 300 pounds, big. I was like, oh, all right, what's up, guys? Got in the car with them. They're like, all right, we're about to take you someplace. Like, cool. Figure we're going to the studio. I see one of them gets on his phone. He's on his phone in the front seat like this, and he's like, yeah, he look cool. Yeah, he got dreads. Yeah, he look cool. I was like, oh, man. So I'm in the back seat. I'm nervous. I start texting my girl, and I'm like, listen, I'm in this car right now. I'm going to go check this band out. But if things get shaky, just remember where you last heard from me. She's like, okay. So we pull up to like a 7-Eleven gas station type thing, and the guys in the car say, hey, get in that car over there. So I was like, we switching cars? They said, no, you get in that car over there. It was a Hummer, black Hummer, one of those, the big Arnold Schwarzenegger Hummers. So I was like, all right, getting in, 2 other guys in that one. We driving around another half hour. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So then we pull up to this house, just in the suburbs, nondescript, regular house, and there are about 10 cars, like 10 high-end cars out front, including the car that I was riding in when they first picked me up. So I'm like, this is dicey. So all right, they're like, come on, we're going in here. And in there, I see Manny Fresh. At the time, I didn't know it was Manny Fresh. I just see this guy in there with some musicians, and Manny's on the drums, playing with the drums. So then this kid comes out, and he's like, hey, what's up, man? And it was Lil Wayne, but I thought it was Juvenile because he was little. So I was like, oh, what's up, Juvenile? But it was Wayne. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. And he didn't even correct me. He just kept it moving. I'm like, all right. So then this dude comes out, wife beater on, and I'm looking at his hand. I'm like, yo, is that a phone? He comes, he sits down across the table from me, and he lays a gun on the table, and he says, so, I hear you want to do business with us. And I'm like, looking at the table, looking at the gun, I'm like, yeah, I want to do business with you. He goes, well, you know what? I respect you because you're the only motherfucker from New York that came to my backyard. I said, oh, no doubt. He goes, all these motherfuckers from New York are trying to fly me to New York and fly me to LA. I don't like flying. I don't want to go to these places. I said, all right, cool. That was Baby, a.k.a. number 1 stunner, a.k.a. Birdman. So then, met his brother, Ronald Slim Williams. He came out. Looked like he needs to be the center on the LA Lakers. About 6'8", comes out. He's like, real different demeanor. I call them salt and pepper because one is very like, his approach is a little direct for people, and the other one is kind of like smooth, like easy. It's like, okay. So sat down, talked to them, and I said, I want to make this happen. Let's go to New York. There was one point where we had the deal ready to go, had it on the table, and what happened was they came to New York and they were meeting with Elektra Records, and we flew them up. That's what it was. That's when I remember what happened. Now we had flown them up to meet with them, and they were in a meeting with Sylvia Rhone. So I found out they were with Sylvia. So I called over to Sylvia's office and I acted like I was the person that worked at Pen and Pixel, taking care of their artwork. I said, "Oh, it's an emergency. I gotta talk to you about this release. We need to fix something." So Slim came on the phone. I said, "Yo, man, what you doing over there?" He's like, "Who's this?" He's like, "It's Dino." He's like, he just started laughing. He said, "All right, man." He said, "We'll be over there right after this." I said, "Okay." I said, "Don't take too long now." I said, "You can be respectful and everything, but you coming over here." And basically, that's how it all started. We gave them that P&D deal right from the get-go. It wasn't like something that they graduated into. It was like right from the get-go, they got a P&D deal. And there were a couple of things that made that happen. One was they had consistent sales for like 2-3 years, putting out 4 or 5 different artists a year. Two was they came with a business plan that really made sense in terms of us doing business with them. And 3, they had new acts they were developing that were ready to go within the next 2, 3, 4 years. Like they had a plan laid out like that. So it was kind of a no-brainer. To me, it was like a no-brainer. But yeah, I had to push Universal. It wasn't like, oh, okay, we're just gonna lay down and do this deal. Yeah, I had to push them because they with that deal, they're not making as much money as they would if they had an artist signed directly to them. I remember I was the one that handed them their first check, and it was a nice feeling, giving those guys a $3 million check. It was a good feeling, and you just see them. And we were walking down. We walked out the building. He's walking down the street holding his check. We were walking down Broadway, back to his hotel. It was me, Slim, and Baby. It was a nice feeling. And at that point, you were like, all right, now we gotta make this money back. And at that point, I was like, whoa, did I make a mistake?